Hi everyone, it's Rax, and the Season 27 patch notes were just released for the upcoming season of Diablo 3, and I'd like to go over them with you. And I threw out some teasers. I had heard from a little birdie that they expected Season 27 to be epic. That's all that I knew about it. I learned everything about it today with you guys. And I have to say, it did not disappoint, and in my opinion, this could be the very best season ever of Diablo 3 as the developers have continued to dominate. So I can't wait to show it to you. Let's jump right on in. So first of all, it's going to start on Tuesday, July 12th. So in just a couple of days, you can bet on Tuesday I'm going to build everything and power it up and try all this new stuff. So if you'd like to watch along on Twitch, I would love to have you there. Season 27 theme, Angelic Crucibles. The new theme introduces a type of consumable item called Angelic Crucibles. Once uncovered by Nephilim, these heavenly artifacts can be used to sanctify any equipable legendary item. Sanctifying an item reforges it to have perfect ancient level stats on all affixes, and it preserves the item's legendary power. In addition, this process adds one of 3 new powers unique to each class. So essentially what is happening here is, did you guys ever watch this video that I made about 10 months ago, A Way to Fix Primal Ancients? They essentially took exactly my idea and implemented it into the game as a seasonal theme, and in addition to that, they also are giving you one of 3 new powers every time that you do that, which we'll go over here in a second, and they're crazy strong. So they took my idea and they made it even better with a seasonal theme, and it's going to be crazy. So obviously, I'm a little biased. I do like the idea, but it's a nice way to make one very powerful Primal Ancient that you need. It essentially turns it into a consumable and lets you upgrade an item. So here's how it works, or at least how I think it understands it works. So let's say you get an item in the game that you want, like a Manticore, and it's non-ancient, and it's got whatever stats it has on it. Dex, Vite, resource cost reduction. And let's say the legendary power is like 279. Maybe this is better explained in paint. We did a lot of paint today on stream. As you guys know, I'm pretty much Picasso here. So if we get a Manticore bow, and let's say it's non-ancient, so it sucks. It's got like 2,000 damage. It's got 650 Dex. It's got 650 Vite. It's got 10 resource cost reduction, and the legendary power gives you like plus 270, let's say, right? You apply this, and it turns it into a Primal Ancient. Okay, the 2,000 goes to perfect. However, these 3 stats right here, I think, are randomly rolled. So you got Dex, Vitality, Resource Cost last time, and I think it just rolls it differently. You might get 10% damage. You might get 1,000 Dex. And maybe you get CDR this time, cooldown reduction, instead of RCR. But this is made perfect to whatever, plus 300. So that's how I think it works. It makes it Primal Ancient. It rerolls like the main stats to some different ones, but gives them perfect values. And it makes the affix the highest level possible. So this is like the only real RNG. And then you get one of 3 new powers on it, and you can only wear one of them at a time. So you can't just make your whole character Primal Ancient insane powers. That would kind of bust the game, right? But you can make one item. So there's like 2 ways to think about it. You could either make it a weapon, which would give you a lot of damage and power, but you're kind of really rolling the dice on these 3 powers that you're going to get. And you got a 33% chance of getting the thing that you want down here. Or you could go with something that's very easy to roll, like a helmet, right? Helmets are pretty easy. You want Dex, you want Vitality, which have a super high chance to roll, and you want crit hit chance, right? You want 6 crit hit chance on almost every build. So you could either pick a valuable item like a weapon, or an easy to roll item like a helm for your one item. You'll probably go with a weapon though, just to get the most damage. So that explains a lot of these things. If you upgrade something to a primal, can you redo it with a new Angelic Crucible? Yes, they can drop anywhere, but they're at level 70, so you won't have them while you're leveling up. You can only have one of them equipped at a time. We already said that. Crafted items cannot be sanctified. Okay. And followers can't have sanctified items. All right. So now let's get into the powers, which make this extremely interesting. So I went over these for a while with my stream, so I can tell you kind of my initial summary of all of them. Whirlwind pulls in and holds all enemies within 25 yards. So when you do a high-end Whirlwind push, there are a lot of runes for Whirlwind that you'd like to use, and one of them is Hurricane, which pulls in all the enemies to you as you move forward. This is going to do that automatically. Everything's going to be pulled into you. So you can use a different Whirlwind rune like Wind Shear, and this also, for pushing, may let you not take Spear. If you don't take Spear, you can take another skill, like Ignore Pain, for example. If you take Ignore Pain, you could potentially take the Lifesteal one. For Ignore Pain, that would open up Battle Rage to take Into the Fray or Bloodshed, so you can do way more damage. So it's things like that, and maybe you could take Overpower Killing Spree as well, so it's going to free up a slot for you and automatically pull everything in. The Hammer of the Ancients one is crazy. Hammer of the Ancients hits in all directions, and every 7th hit of Hammer of the Ancients sends out a huge shockwave. LOD Hoda is already such a good skill. The fact that it hits all around the Barbarian and sends out the shockwave is going to be pretty sick. Then the last one is with Wrath the Berserker. You can store 100 stacks, and every time you use Wrath the Berserker, it eats 50 of them. It gives you 25% increased damage for 10 seconds. This is a cool, like, generic multiplier that you can use for a lot of different builds. Probably not as cool as these two, though. Crusaders. Blessed Hammer now crackles with energy, damaging enemies within 15 yards of its path. So 15 yards all around a hammer is a huge radius. So we'll just have to see how powerful this is. How high is this? How much damage does this crackling with energy do? We won't know until we test it. Every 2 seconds, call down Fists of the Heavens. This could be really good for pushing with like AoV or Fists of the Heavens, but Fists of the Heavens is usually a very good T16 build. It'll essentially just let you get on your pony and pony. You just run through the whole map. And if it's just shooting down Fists of the Heavens left and right all around you, you might be able to literally just pony through the map and kill the entire screen. So that's crazy. And after you cast Falling Sword, you get 2 Archangels. The Archangels that they used in a couple seasonal themes ago were crazy strong. They had no life, but they did insane damage. So we'll just have to see how they balanced it. Hopefully they stay alive, and if they deal massive damage, this could be crazy good, actually. A lot of testing needs to be done with the Crusader. Now this is a crazy one. Strafe now casts the last non-channeled hatred spending ability casted. Okay, so initially I thought, okay, this essentially automatically does God DH for you, right? You shoot a Hungering Arrow. Now you literally just hold Strafe. Hold Strafe, it's shooting Hungering Arrow for you infinitely. You don't ever have to do that again. That's nice, right? But it's way more than that, actually. You might be able to take Unhallowed Essence, right? Unhallowed Essence is the multi-shot build, but multi-shot is a non-channeled hatred spending ability. So you shoot one multi-shot and then you start strafing. And Strafe with Unhallowed Essence could spray multi-shots everywhere. You could consider using Strafe with Marauder. You cast a sentry, you strafe, you spray sentries everywhere. You fire Cluster Arrow or multi-shot, now you're spraying them everywhere, and your sentries are hopefully spraying them as well. So this Strafe could potentially turn any Demon Hunter build into a God-esque build where you're spraying whatever it is you want to spray all over the screen. So there is huge potential in theory crafting that can be done with this. Just crazy to even think about. Vengeance unleashes a barrage of rockets that deal damage equal to a percentage of an enemy's current HP. The damage per rocket is reduced if the enemy is an elite or a boss, and it cannot occur more than once every 60 seconds. So this is a very cool concept. This is a thing like Static Field, or I believe it's called Crushing Blow in Diablo 2. It could be very useful for Rift Guardians and for killing Juggernaut elites. There are 2 things that are happening here, which is like a recurring theme that I think Blizzard should reconsider. So first of all, they reduced the percentage the rocket does for an elite or a boss. This is the entire reason why that this skill would be good, right? So depending on how much they've nerfed it, it may actually take out the entire value of why this would be helpful. The second thing is they added a second kind of nerf to it where it can only happen once every 60 seconds. Once every 60 seconds in Diablo 3 is almost like an eternity. So I feel like there's a little bit too much restriction here. We'll have to try it on the PTR and see how it actually feels. But my initial thoughts are there's too many restrictions here. I think maybe you chop this down to like every 30 seconds or something, or something's got to give here. Finally, firing cluster arrow concentrates its explosive force into a piercing ray of light. I have absolutely no idea what this means. Does it mean that my path of cluster arrow is a piercing ray of light? Does it mean that my piercing ray of light continues after I fired it? Does it mean that when it lands, it shoots the ray of light backwards or in a random direction or auto targets enemy? I have no idea what this means. I'm just going to have to try it. Monk. Casting Wave of Light summons a bell at the target location that deals damage when the caster attacks that bell. Up to 7 bells can be active at a time. So when you play Wave of Light, you're constantly throwing waves of light so your Obsidian Ring can reset your Epiphany so you survive from your Stone Gauntlets. So you're always throwing waves of light. So essentially you will have 7 bells up all over the map where if you hit them, it's going to deal damage to everything in the map. It's a cool idea. It's a unique idea. We just have no idea what kind of damage the bells do. If they do a lot of damage, Wave of Light might be the strongest build in the entire game next season. We'll see. This is one that I really don't understand too much. Way of the 100 Fists combo punch uses the second stage of the combo punch. The second stage of the combo punch punches really quickly. So, okay, there's 2 things that I could think that this could be used for. This could be used to stack Stricken on a Rift Guardian so you can kill the boss very easily. Makes sense to me. But monks are already the best Rift Guardian killer in the game. Maybe not after the nerf to Ina that we're going to get to later, but they're already one of the best, so they didn't really need that buff, did they? And then another way you could use it is with Raiment. But with Raiment, unless I'm missing something, that wouldn't be anywhere near enough to push it toward the top. So I really don't understand this, and maybe someone in the comments can let me know, but this doesn't sound that great to me. The target of your 7-sided strike is barraged with spiritual punches for 15 seconds. This can only affect 1 enemy at a time. This is a Juliana thing. A lot of people like Juliana. I'm excited to try it. I have no idea how hard these spiritual punches hit for. I have no idea if they stack Stricken for you. We'll have to see, but seems cool. Let's give it a shot. We'll have to try it before we have an opinion on it. Necromancer. The golem picks up corpses within 20 yards. Each corpse it stores allows you to cast any corpse spending ability with the maximum number of corpses consumed per cast. Up to 30 corpses can be stored. This is tough to understand. We were thinking about this for a long time on stream about exactly what it means. Essentially, the conclusion was it was tough to understand how this would be useful. Because when you play a build like Corpse Explosion, you have to have your Johnstone and usually your Land of the Dead up anyway to deal significant damage. You could move the corpses somewhere else and attack that way. We understand that. But initial thoughts are it's hard to understand how this would be incredibly useful. Maybe there will be a way theory crafted. We looked at all the skills. We looked at a lot of the builds. But it's not immediately clear what the purpose of this is or how we will take advantage of it. So I guess more on that later. Then the other one is enemies with 50 yards are constantly assaulted by Army of the Dead unconventional warfare while this item is equipped. This could be very good for Rathma, and Necros are in dire need of a really good farming build. Rathma's kind of close, but it's a little bit clunky. With this Army of the Dead always assaulting within 50 yards, which is a huge radius. It's like almost the entire screen. This could turn Necromancers into a very, very good farming build with Rathma. Hitting enemies with Death Nova 5 consecutive times adds a spirit that afflicts an enemy every 5th cast of Death Nova. Up to 3 spirits can be sent at a time. So you'll see later with Traghouls, this Death Nova thing could be absolutely insane. Death Nova is going to be crazy good for clearing out the trash, and if these spirits do a lot of single target damage, it's crazy to think about, but Tragghouls, which is currently an F tier build right here, D and F tier, could be potentially one of the strongest in the entire game. Now, Witch Doctors have some interesting changes. The thing about Witch Doctors, which I think the team could consider, is none of them really apply to a specific Witch Doctor build like some of the other ones. This applies to Death Nova. This applies to Army of the Dead. This applies to your Golem and Moving Corpses. It's very specific. This applies to Wave of Light, Way of the 100 Fists, Seven-Sided Strike, right? Get the idea. The Witch Doctors, you'll notice, are very generic, which they're cool, but I'm not sure how Witch Doctor is going to feel about this. 5 seconds after casting Haunt, all haunted enemies within 50 yards are pulled to the Witch Doctor. Again, that's a huge radius. So you haunt, boom, everything is pulled to you. Maybe you can Spirit Walk, or you can Spirit Walk, move away, try to get into an Aki, and then detonate the whole screen. It's a pretty cool concept. Horrify becomes an aura that causes enemies to receive 15% more damage and 15% less damage, in addition to the effects of Horrify. One of the Horrify runes restores mana. So you can actually get an aura now that could give you infinite mana with more damage and taking less damage. That's pretty cool. Again, it's a generic thing. And maybe Witch Doctors like that, because you could apply it to potentially any build, but it's not very build specific. And then finally, your Gargantuan spreads Locust Swarm, and it summons zombie dogs, and your zombie dogs get every rune. So it's essentially Gargantuan is 3 skills in 1. A lot of builds require you to have everything Locust Swarmed, which sometimes people take, what's it called, Wormwood, to make the Locust Swarm apply. That's happening to you for free now. And you get your zombie dogs, which are going to help tank for you, and they're going to keep you alive, and they have a lot of really nice abilities. So it's like you get 3 skills in 1 now with Gargantuan, in addition to the Gargantuan. And it may even save you a legendary power. So this is a huge quality of life thing that could potentially be used with a lot of different builds. And then finally, I think the winners of this patch are Wizards. I think some of their abilities are crazy good, and some of their set changes are amazing. Casting Storm Armor sends a powerful thunderbolt from the sky that instantly kills a random enemy. Boom, dead. Bosses cannot be killed, but they take significant damage. So Wizard RGK would be crazy. This effect cannot occur more than once every 60 seconds. I really hate the concept of this once in every 60 seconds. I think that's way too long. And you could pull a big pack and have that yellow Juggernaut in the pack that you'll never kill. It does not say that it doesn't work on elites. It says it doesn't work on bosses. So you make one-shot the yellow Juggernaut with this thing. But again, once every 60 seconds, I think we have to work on that. I think that needs to come down. And we need to make sure that there aren't crazy mechanics that let you just one-shot the whole screen, like we've seen, like with Sever, for example. But this could be really cool in practice. More of a pushing thing than a speed farming thing. Arcane Orb periodically spawns up to 4 orbiting charges that generate an additional orb when cast. All charges from the Arcane Orbit rune detonate at the same time. You could get a lot of damage out of this with specific builds. It could be crazy good. You could teleport on top of somebody, have the Arcane Orbs orbit you, run into them on purpose, detonate all orbs, and potentially one-shot an elite, which could be crazy. And finally, probably one of the coolest things that I think is Magic Missile fires 20 missiles and seeks them. It reminds me of a Prismatic Bolt Ember Mage. Okay, I just got DC'd. But I would just like to show you for 2 seconds what that might actually look like. So if I go here and I go Wizard, Firebird's Magic Missile might be crazy good. Okay, so we go here and I have Magic Missile on. And, we just take the regular Magic Missile, right? Okay, so we shoot it. We're throwing 1 Magic Missile there. Okay, there's 1 rune that gives us 3. So let's look at what 3 looks like. Okay, that's what 3 looks like. Imagine 20, and they seek enemies. Okay, here's Seeker. It's this, and they seek enemies, but you get 20 of them. And then, of course, I think we're going to have to make it take the fire ones with Firebird. But I think that could be potentially one of the best builds in the game. Just filling the entire map with fireballs that seek out your enemies. Wizards are going to be pumping next season. They made some general game updates. You no longer have to beat the campaign to access adventure mode. That's good for brand new players. This doesn't really matter. The Uber Boss thing doesn't really matter. The experience rewarded from Echoing Nightmares has been reduced by 83%. I think this is a fantastic change. You're going to be like, Rax, are you crazy? They just took Echoing Nightmares and reduced their XP. How could that possibly be good? Echoing Nightmares are really not that fun to do if you have to do a lot of them. They're just not very fun to do at all. I don't think anybody likes them. And their XP is so high that you feel like you have to do Echoing Nightmares instead of doing greater rifts or having fun with your build. You're standing still doing nothing, right? I think in the future iterations can be made on Echoing Nightmares to make it like a better game mode. But for now, I think you take down the XP, which is exactly what they did, and you make it like a fun little side event where you can get your augments and you can get a lot of items. So there's still a reason to do it, but there's no reason to do them all day. And I think another thing that they could consider, since the XP is not very high, they could make it a little bit better for hardcore. The meteors are killing a lot of people and lagging people. They could make it a little bit easier to complete them if they wanted to, and add some new stuff to the Echoing Nightmares. So I do think this is the right move. I 100% agree with this. Let's keep the XP mostly in Greater Rifts and just use Echoing Nightmares to supplement our builds. One thing that I think they should absolutely add in this game is a Petrified Scream sync. So if you get like 50 of them and you want to run like 20 of them for your augments, and you've got 30 left over, I think you should be able to salvage them or use a cube recipe to convert them into like Greater Rift keys or something. I think that would be a very nice thing to add. They changed one of the crafted sets to Guardian's Jeopardy. We theory crafted this for quite a while, and we pretty much concluded that this has no use at all. You would never craft this over Captain Crimson's or over Augilds, and this isn't even good for a follower either. It's not good for a follower because you can hit 25k main stat easily without the help, and it's not good for a follower because it's not going to keep them alive if, for let's say, you use the All Skills Relic and you don't have Enforcer. I don't think it's enough to keep them alive. So I can't think of any reason why you would ever craft this. It is better. They did buff it, but this still seems worthless to me. So let's look at the set changes. Crusaders. Now, this is the set that I really cannot tell you how strong this is going to be without trying it. But the two-piece, it reduces the cost of all abilities by 50%. Now, Judgment has no cooldown and gains every rune. And then the Armor of Akan attacks from Phalanx, which is, everyone's been crying for a Phalanx build forever. You finally got it. They bring back your Akrat's Champion, and then they apply Condemn. And they apply Condemn when everything is judged. Then on this legendary power, it's going to increase the duration of your Phalanx bowmen and bodyguards forever. So they changed the con from like this general thing into much more of a Phalanx Judgment Condemn thing. Could be really good. It could be really fun. Really, we'll just not know until we try it, but a lot of people have been asking for it, so that's cool. Monks. Ina changed from 3,000% per ally to 900%. That's 30,100. If we go to paint here, just to show you what's going to happen to Ina, just so you understand. So essentially, real quick, it was 30k. Now it's 9k. So we take 30,100. We divide it by 9,100. That is, I think, 3.3. So then the question becomes 1.17. Terrible drawing. 1.17 to what power is 3.3? And the answer is 7.7. So Ina goes down 7.7 tiers, right? Ina needed to come down. That's certainly right. But I'm not sure 7.7 tiers was the right number. That seems like a little high. But they said they've been riding the high wave of success. They're giving us a little pun here, so it's time to bring in the Nerf Shark. I'm going to ask them if they'll lower it a little bit. I mean, this is me asking you. Can you please lower it to like maybe 5 tiers? I don't think you need to nerf it 7.5. But yeah, we knew that was going to come down. So monks are the losers of this patch, unfortunately, even though they might have the strongest build, Wave of Light, next season. Tragghouls. This has been like the worst set forever. It's not the worst set anymore. Blood Rush and Siphon Blood gain the effect of every rune. Your life spending abilities no longer cost essence. I actually didn't know this. I thought life spending abilities only spent life. No, they spend life and essence. I mean, what a ripoff. Well, now they don't cost essence anymore when you wear the set. So I guess that's good. They tremendously increased the 4-piece bonus. It used to give you 100% more life. Now you get 300% more life. So it's going to be really hard to die. It's going to be very tanky. And then your life spending abilities deal 10,000% increased damage. It used to be 3,800. So once again, we go here. Okay, what happens there? It's 10, and then it's like 3.9. I forgot we did the math here. It's like 2.5, and so that's 6. Because I know 3 is 7, so that has to be 6. So it goes up 6 tiers. Just quick mental math there. So this is 6-tier damage increase. But then we go further and we see that Siphon Blood casts Blood Nova, and after you use 10% of your life, it deals 40% increased damage for 60 seconds. It stacks up to 10 times. So that's a 500% multiplier. It's 10 times 4 plus 100. That's 5 times. That's at 10 tiers of damage. So Death Nova has went up 16 tiers of damage from crushing the AoE. Plus, remember up here, your Death Nova now afflicts these spirits. And the spirits could be, who knows, they could be crazy strong. Maybe they're 4 tiers of damage. I have no idea. So it's like 20 tiers up. And then Siphon Blood, Rob made a good point. You pick up the funerary, I don't know how to say that. We'll call it the fun pick. When you pick up this pick, you lose one of the other necro weapons, which is a huge multiplier, so it's not like a straight gain. But it hits 2 additional targets. So if it hits 1 and now it hits 3, that's already, 3 times the damage, right? And it's 300% increased damage from you, so that's 4. It's a 4 multiplier. That's like 9 tiers of damage. So it's 3, and then it's 9. And then it gives you 20% per stack instead of 10. So now that takes a 200 multiplier into a 300 multiplier. 200 divided by 300. That's what? Get 50% more, which is a little bit less than 3 tiers. Let's just call it times 3 times about 9, and let's call it times 2. So, I mean, and plus you have to take out the other weapon that you were going to get. So you're going to lose some of that. But in general, you go here and you look at it and you say, well, Death Nova is just straight up getting like 16 tiers plus the buff, and we had it at about 20 tiers behind right here, or around 20 tiers. Traghoul could be S tier, just a straight up S tier build. And remember, you're getting a ton of healing, and you get a ton of life. And your life spending abilities now don't cost essence anymore. So you're going to be draining all your health back perpetually. Super high health pool, dealing massive AoE damage with Death Nova, doing massive single target with Siphon Blood, and don't forget, we have our little friends, the spirits. I mean, there's going to be a lot going on here, but this might be a crazy, crazy build. Cool. Wizards. The Wizards really want one here. Casting any of these million skills also casts slow time at the target. That was the entire problem with this build. You're not attacking like a wizard. You're laying a strategically placed slow time here and then trying to hit right within that slow time, and you stand in it, you get a little bit of damage reduction. None of that anymore. Now it's just going to spray the slow times everywhere for you, thank God. And now that your teleport cooldown is going to be reset if you're inside the bubbles. So This is a huge quality of life improvement, a tremendous quality of life, a game-changing quality of life improvement. Now you take 75% reduced damage, which is better. Used to be 60, and allies gain half the benefit. But also, this crown, slow time gains every rune, and it follows you. So now, again, game-changing, you're always in a slow time. So if you want to fight a boss, you're standing there. It doesn't matter where they go. Wherever you go, there is a bubble already on you, and you get all of the slow time effects. So the quality of life improvement to this set just took it from very clunky and unplayable to super fun, super powerful. You're going to be filling the entire screen with bubbles, and you're going to be tankier for it as well, especially since the slow time follows you. So wizards are pumping. Speaking of pumping, look at Tal Rasha. Okay, follow me here. Okay, you hit the enemies with the 4 different element types. Now you're immune to those element types. You're immune to all the damage. The elemental damage. You still take physical damage. You throw the meteor of the same type. That's how it was. But read what this says. The same meteor cannot happen twice in a row. Do you remember what it used to say? It used to say there is an 8-second cooldown for each damage type. It's not there anymore. It just says the same meteor can't happen twice in a row. This means you're going to be immune to all the different element types, and you're going to be throwing way more meteors. You're going to be throwing meteors everywhere. That is crazy, crazy good. It's a super high buff. You know, I don't know how many meteors you're going to be able to actually throw out there, but let's just say you get 3 times as many meteors would be amazing. And then the 4-piece, each of the attacks increase all of your resistances by 50% for 8 seconds. Well, you're already immune to all this, so these resistances are just going to help keep you alive from everything else. But then we go to the Smoldering Core. Lesser enemies are lured to your meteor impact areas, so they're literally going to run in and just die to your meteors. And then they deal up to 50% increased damage on consecutive hits to the same target, stacking up to 10 times. That's a 500 plus 100, 600% damage increase as they keep getting hit by your meteors. So your single target is going to be way better. You make a big clump of stuff and they just keep surviving. Every meteor that keeps coming from the skies, you just keep summoning them, is just going to do more and more and more damage. When I did the math on it, I think it's going to buff this, you know, plus the seasonal theme. You know, you might get like, I don't know, maybe 15 tiers out of this. And look at where Tal Rasha is. It's about 15 tiers behind S tier. So I was kind of wondering on my stream, I'm like, let's see here. Well, Trag'Oul, I give it like 20 tiers. And Tal Rasha, I give it 15 tiers. Huh, Blizzard, have you been busting out your calculators and maybe looking at the Maxroll? Have you been looking at the Maxroll tier list? Because my little fuzzy mental math seems to completely align with what you guys are doing here. So this could be a really, really top tier build. I mean, if you like being immune to everything, and you like throwing meteors everywhere, and you like, you know, meteor after meteor after meteor, it's just getting more and more damage. All right, wizards, and don't forget the 20 magic missile seeking Firebirds build you can play as well. I mean, what is going on with wizards? They're going to be crazy good. And then we have some bug fixes that don't really matter. And that's the patch, guys. So that was a long video. God, 33 minutes. I thought I talked pretty fast there as well, but I tried to go a little bit in depth there after we talked about this for hours and hours and hours, theory crafting. What do you guys think? I think it's going to be one of the best ones. Hey, Blizzard, thanks for stealing my idea. No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead, steal my idea as much as you want. I think you even improved upon it. One more thing I want to show you guys. There are some things in this patch notes that were missed, and I shared this. First of all, we need to delete witch doctors from the game. I mean, I'm not really serious here. I just don't like witch doctors, but I mean, I have to take my chances wherever I can get them. Need to remove Waller from every Diablo game. Okay, let's get into the serious stuff. Dream Rifts. You know the vignette on the Dream Rifts, the pulsing thing on the outside? It's too much. On the PTR, you couldn't see it, but now on live, it's too obnoxious. I asked them to go for a middle ground. The Desolate Sands, the Shrouded Moors, the irregular sands maps. They either need to be removed from the Dream Rift pool, or they need to not be the first map. They need to get rid of Toxic Lurkers, which are the big spiders, which are called Big Booties, and the Dark Berserkers. Those mod types are garbage. They need to take them out. If you're like a newer player, you have no idea what I'm talking about, just trust me. They need to get rid of this stuff. And they need to add Vile Swarms and Slashers. I didn't hear anything about changing Dream Rifts. Obviously, Earth Ally is still totally busted. They need to fix that. And I also told them, hey, you may want to, since you've toned down Echoing Nightmares, it's supposed to be a fun little side event. You may want to consider reducing the damage for meteors so the hardcore players can survive, so they can get their augments a little bit easier, because you can easily just die there and lose your character. And I don't know if that's the intention of the little side thing. Anyway, on Tuesday, July 12th, I'm going to be playing this. I don't know how many hours, as many hours as I can possibly play in a row. I'm going to build everything you can think of: Hammer of the Ancients, Whirlwind, Crusader, Phalanx, Blessed Hammer, Fist of the Heavens, everything I can possibly think of with Strafe, the Cluster Arrow, Pierce of Light, the Taco Bell Wave of Light thing. I don't know what I'm going to do for the golems. I'm definitely going to make Traghouls. I'm going to make an Army of the Dead. Not really sure what I'm going to do with Witch Doctor. We're going to have to try something. A lot of this is very generic. We'll have to try something. Going to make a 20 magic missile Firebird boy. I mean, I guarantee I'll make that. Might try an Arcane Orb DMO wizard. Test out the Storm Armor. See what I can one-shot. Try the new Akon. Don't need to try Ina. Just nerfed. Definitely going to make Traghouls. Definitely going to make DMO. Definitely going to make Tal Rasha. What do you think, guys? I think this is one of Blizzard's best performances. Really cool idea. Really awesome powers for every class, except for maybe Witch Doctor. Could use a little bit of love there. Really good changes to the sets. I don't know. You guys are dominating. After the Diablo Immortal fiasco, this is a breath of fresh air. That's the video, guys. Sorry it took 37 minutes. My God. See you on Tuesday. Later.